I felt like they were like an enigma. They were all pretty and they were all smart and they were all
They
like
had it all
they had it
together.
all together.
It was
Yeah, I like
crazy. It was like
every
another
person Hamid
planet.
I ever met. Yeah, I was like, wow, kids are like that.
Yeah, right.
Kids kids could have all that stuff and be nice people. That's nuts.
Um, when I was looking at this interview, I realized that I was friends with your brother. First of all, I forgot you had a brother, and I realized
Two of
that,
them.
like, yeah, for a second I was friends with Jimmy. I didn't really
Yeah.
realize that. I was always out in front of your house. Uh, and I don't even know what we used to do, but we used to kind of mob around in that neighborhood of yours. And
Yeah, a lot of basketball. The baseball fields are
yeah,
right there. I can
something,
remember you
yeah.
guys hooping a lot.
Yeah, I remember Jimmy just
Yeah.
for like a few summers. So uh let me make
I
sure
owe
I
a
get
lot
this
of who
right.
I was then to Jimmy too.
Yeah, you guys were very
Yeah,
close. Right.
and Jimmy had, because I don't know if you know much about Jim, but he became the
No.
principal of Hemeter.
Oh my gosh, that's so
Yeah, and
cool.
he's won like 2 Crystal Apples for like Teacher of the Year. He's amazing. Yeah.
That is so cool because again, here's Himitor is like a consistent theme and subject on the podcast always. And here
Oh,
we
for
are again.
sure. And
That
that's what
is
I
so
said. I like
cool.
everybody that went to Hemeter was like, I felt like they were like an enigma. They were all pretty and they were all smart and they were all
They
like
had it all
they had it
together.
all together.
It was
Yeah, I like
crazy. It was like
every
another
person Hemeter I
planet.
ever met. Yeah, I was like, wow, kids are like that.
Yeah, right.
Kids kids could have all that stuff and be nice people. That's nuts.
And still be nice people. They were just
Yeah,
amazing people with like great
they were.
parents. It was that's
Yeah.
so and see that perspective of us from Westdale, like it's they don't realize that when I was talking to Brad, he's like, I didn't really realize that we were viewed this way. And a few other people was like, Himitor was
That's
cool.
oh yeah, I would have I was like, I wish I could be at Hemeter.
That's what they invited me in Sherwood, and then suddenly the invitation disappeared, and I was hurt.
Oh
I was
man.
like, yeah, I want to go there. I was scared, but overall, I wanted to go there.
Hey, yeah.
So all those times that I stood outside of your house, what's the name of that street?
Timothy.
Timothy. Yeah, I can barely
Yeah,
remember
yeah,
that neighborhood, but I was like,
yeah,
want to like draw this map, like Lord of the Rings or like something like
yeah,
this. I want to like see that neighborhood again because that neighborhood is
yeah.
very. It seems to me, I don't know. I know if I had more money, like a budget, I would have a research team. But it seems to me like the oldest neighborhood in the township. If you think about how new the township looks like.
Oh, I would agree.
Mm-hmm.
Because even when I was growing up, that started turning into a bit of the older neighborhood. Because then you had like the village, which was,
Yep.
the nice area beside
Newer.
Westdale. And
Yeah.
then it was newer over in by Arrowwood, where now Arrowwood's kind
Exactly.
of even getting older. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, over by where we live now, it's so different.
It already felt like it was the city kind of because we were right
It,
on the edge right there, and it felt like
yeah,
city
yeah,
vibes. Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, that's definitely how it's gotten now.
So I stood outside of your house so many times, but I never went inside. And shockingly, I don't know how it's possible. I never saw your parents. I heard your mother's voice many times from like outside, and I never met your parents. So tell me about the Dickies, and I want to know how you guys made it to Saginaw.
They were born and raised in Saginaw. My mom
Wow.
actually grew up on the street that I lived on,
Mm-hmm. Wow.
about 2 houses down. Yep. And her name's Cheryl. She
Mm-hmm.
was the manager of the Sullivan's restaurant on
Oh,
Gratiot.
wow. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, forever
Mm-hmm.
up until I was way past graduation.
Yeah.
My dad, Tim, he was a respiratory therapist who worked nights. So he was hard to catch because he slept a lot
Mm.
during the day and worked at night. But there was an age difference. I think my mom was like 27 when she met my dad, and he was like 19. So they married young.
Wow.
But yeah, loved their kids. My dad was a little more of the disciplinarian, so he was a little more scarier, I think, to us at the
Mm-hmm.
time, but he wasn't a scary dad because we had a cottage and he would take us up there and we had a good time with him. But my
Mhm.
mom was definitely the calmer one. But we had a
Mhm.
cottage and we had a good time as a family because we had a pool
Mhm.
and yeah, they were
Do
good
you know how they
parents.
met? Your parents met?
Yeah, they met at a bar because my dad got in illegally.
Uh-huh.
My mom kind of had always grown up really shy, never dated. So she kind of like the first time a good looking guy talked to her, she kind of was like, me? Can't believe this guy likes me. So, I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
they were engaged within 2 weeks and married within
Wow.
4 months. Yeah. And they
Wow. That
stayed
is
married
so.
for 16, almost 17 years.
Oh, wow. It's huge age
Yeah.
difference.
Oh, yeah.
Huge age
They
difference.
they
Okay.
they had such a great marriage. That's what I remember most as a kid. They never fought. I never heard yelling growing up. They did vacations
Wow.
separate. They didn't take us kids on like their vacations, which my dad always said was the key to their happiness because not that they didn't love their kids, but a lot of the times as you get married and have kids, your vacations become family vacations.
Yeah, of
But he
course.
always thought, no, we're still going to have our husband and wife time. So they would go to Mexico once a year and another. He went to a lot of conferences for being a respiratory therapist, but they never took us. They just, that was kind of their thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that interesting advice because that is good for the marriage, probably. Yeah. So it
Hmm.
sounds like that foundation at home was really a big part of the happy girl.
Yeah, definitely. Because when that kind of started falling apart was when the happy girls started disappearing a little bit.
Really? So you can really
Yeah.
feel the connection there. Yeah, because
Oh,
just with
totally.
Jimmy,
Totally.
I felt like you guys were super close because I could feel that there was a responsibility either that he was told directly or that he felt instinctually that he had to take care of you.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Especially once my parents separated because he was not fond of my stepfather. So because I had to move to Milford, Michigan for a little while, which we'll probably get into later, but
Mhm.
he didn't go. He stayed at 16 in that house in Timothy. So again, I think you can see how the way Jimmy turned out, um, it's just so evident on how a good family life and good structure really makes you the person you are. Because me
Mhm.
and my little brother were a lot younger when my stepdad came around, especially my little brother.
Mhm.
And we are completely different than Jimmy now.
Wow. Yeah. And
Yeah.
Jimmy had potential to be bad when he was
Yeah,
at that
yeah. I mean,
age.
he got,
Yeah.
and when he was in elementary school, he wasn't the greatest kid. I mean, he
Yeah,
would fight
exactly.
and he stuck up for his siblings a lot. He was a little bit of a punk.
Yeah, a
And
little bit of a punk. Yeah.
yeah, but he always stayed
And now he's a
on
freaking
that straight line.
principal.
Yeah.
Like that is just amazing to me. Wow.
Yeah.
Because yeah, when I look back at that guy, it's like punk like me and Steve, and you just don't imagine Stu's gonna be a principal later, like Steve's gonna be a
Right.
principal, and this guy's a freaking principal.
Right.
That
And
is
young, I think he
shocking
was
news.
the youngest at the time, the youngest one, because he's been it for about 8 years. I think he was the youngest principal in the state.
That is amazing.